What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here with a review for Greenleaf Season 5, Episode number 3, titled The Third Day. So, this is just basically a countdown, isn't it, huh? So, you guys, this was a really good episode. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this episode review, shall we? Alright, so I'm going to start at the bottom of my notes and work my way up. So, first thing I'm going to start with talking about Zora and Sophia. I don't know why I started on that one. I don't know why I'm yelling. But we're going to talk about Zora and Sophia. So, we see Zora and Sophia. So, they're at, in the cabin. And what they're doing is they're basically reporting anybody who has reposted, the titty pics that Sophia sent to Dante that Nikki has posted. And Zora said that she did a search on the internet and you can't find the pictures anywhere, so she's good. So then Sophia sees a bag and she's like, "Is that Nikki's stuff?" And Zora's like, "Most of it." So Sophia gets the bag and she's throwing some of the clothes in the trash, and Zora's like, "I said some of it's like some of that is mine." So then Nikki comes into the cabin and she and Sophia get into it with each other. And I'm just gonna say, Sophia, you should have just calmed down. You should have just left little Nikki alone. I know she put your titties out there. Now you probably shouldn't have sent your titty pictures with your face showing. Just saying, but you're young, you live once, and it is what it is. So I'm not judging you. Hell, even as a teenager, I know not to send a nude picture of myself with my face showing. And I still don't do that to this day, and I'm 30, about to be 30. Oh, God. I will be 31 years old next week. I just really realized that my birthday is literally next Thursday, and I will be 31 years old. So, Sophia and Nikki were going back and forth with each other. Now, Nikki did take a low blow when she said at least she can have kids. I'm like, damn. And then Sophia tried to fight her, but I'm like, when she slapped, back slapped her ass, I'm like, oh shit. Sophia, I was here for you, but yeah, baby girl, fighting ain't your strong suit. Like, it just ain't for you. So then, so Zora tells Nikki, like, you gotta go, don't come back. And she's like, after she done burnt you for like the 85th time, like, you fake as fuck, Zora. And I'm doing things to myself. So was Zora supposed to take your side over her flesh and blood, her cousin? Nikki, get your ass out of there, please and thank you. So then we do see Zora and Sophia, at the another time in the episode, and Zora basically tells Sophia, like, girl, get that rage in check. Like, either write a song, bake, do whatever, figure out what works for you, but you got to get that rage in check because a fighter you ain't. And I was like, yes, she's not a fighter. And then we do see a scene where Sophia was in her room on her computer and she got a phone call and it was from AJ. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. I actually think I'm going to close the episode with the AJ situation. So let's move forward. Alright, you guys, and then let's talk about the devil in a tight dress. So she was in her office and Phil comes into her office and he tells her that, he and Judy with 2 E's have talked. And they want for this is the last week in the church, and they go to the new place, so they want for her voice to be the first voice that's heard. She's like, "Oh, you want me to preach?" He said, "Nope, that's not exactly what we're talking about. We want you to do the welcome." I was like, "Damn, the welcome." So basically, you just a hired help charity. And I don't know how you don't see that, but yeah, I would be a little bit peeved and pissed at that. So she was like, well, why don't Judy do it? I mean, she is going to be the first lady. She says, and I am a preacher. I'm like, Charity, I don't necessarily believe that they care that you're a preacher. You are a puppet. You are a pawn when it comes down to Judy and Phil and even Bob. So why are you doing this stuff? And like I said, we're gonna talk a little bit more about this as well, Charity as well. So she's like, so when am I gonna be able to preach? He says, you'll be able to preach. So she says, oh, how about next Sunday? He was like, I don't know about that one, but let me talk to Bob about that. And he also says that, Judy needs help when it comes to the music. And she was like, oh, is that so? She needs help when it comes to the music. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. She says, but you know what? I'll help her. So then we do see Charity, and she goes into Judy's office, and she gives Judy her music selections for the next 6 months. So then Judy, with two E's, wants to talk to Charity, and I'm like, what the hell does she want to talk about? So then now see, the devil in a tight dress is better than how I could ever be. Because Judy gonna sit there with two E's, put the ring up in her face and ask her, what do you think about this ring? She didn't really necessarily like the ring, and the devil in the tight dress was like, well, I do like the ring. She's like, when I get it, I should probably get it resized. It would have took everything in me not to slap hell from her. Yep. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. So then we do see Phil. So Phil, he sees, Charity later, and he tells her, thank you so much for helping Judy out. So then he tries to go and reach for her. She's like, you don't do that anymore to me. And he says, wait, but I want to talk. She was like, about what? My son is waiting for me. I said, who? You're who? Child, you would really think that she forgot you. Like, you, for the longest time, I was like, do she even remember that she has a child? Because every time I see little Nathan, he's always with Marisol. So as far as, the viewing public is concerned, Marisol is Nathan's mama. So he says, when it comes down to it, he wants to just talk like they used to talk. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, wow, he has really lost his mind. You want to talk like y'all used to talk, but you sit here about to marry Judy with two E's. And I'm glad that, Charity said no. I'm like, girl, if you don't have the common sense that God gave a mule, move on. So then, we see Judy with two E's and Phil at their apartment, and she's cooking dinner. And I have to say that dinner looked very unseasoned to me. Just gonna put it out there like that. It just looked unseasoned. Um, and she was telling him how entertaining Charity was. She said, she's gonna preach you and I out of a job. I really just hope they run that church and sit on the ground. I'm just gonna keep it 100% real with you guys. I just hope that they run the church into the ground and that none of the members stay. That's my hope for the church. So then there is a God. At the end of the episode, we see Charity, and she is with Nathan. I was like, oh my God, that is a miracle. Like that is like finding Waldo, like Carmen San Diego, because you never see Charity with that little boy. So then Lady Mae comes in there, and she has Charity's hymnal. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And she gives it to her, and she tells her open up the cover, and in it said Reverend Charity Greenleaf. So she's always had aspirations of being, a preacher. And Lady Mae tells her, she actually encourages Charity when it comes to this whole Phil situation. Just don't look like a fool. But I'm like, Lady Mae's a little bit too late for that because she looks like a fool. And then Charity, gives her a name for the church, which we'll discuss. We'll talk about the church a little bit later. But the name she gave the name Eternal Faith Fellowship, which I actually really do like that. That's a good name. And then May tells her, we've already given Corinne the part for, the over the music, and but that associate pastor, it still stands. So, like I said, let's move over to the crux of this episode, you guys. All right, you guys. So next, let's talk about Lady Mae and Bishop. So earlier in the episode, we saw Lady Mae and Bishop. So they were at the table and they were trying to come up with some names for the church. And the first, the one name that Bishop threw out, Lady Mae was researching it, and she found that church already existed with a website. Then he named off another church, and she was like, James, now you know that church is right down the street, and we've been to it. He was like, we've been to, I've never been to that church, me. And she's like, yes, we have. We took Zora. And I'm like, oh my God, Bishop. I saw it last week. at the end of the episode, I might not have mentioned it in my review, but I definitely did see what Lady May saw when she started, when, she said the guy sent her her sign. What it is Bishop is either going through early on, he's probably going through, it's early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, but I think it might be early onset dementia. Because it's not that he's completely forgetting things, it's just he has, lapses where he's remembering things. So May tells him to get a physical, and he says, "No, May, I am as fit as a racehorse." And James, racehorses die too. That is true. Hell, everything dies. So then the devil in a tight dress comes in, and they tell her to sit down and talk. So they ask her. Actually, they didn't even get to ask her. She says no, she won't come and work at the church, because that's what they wanted her to do, was sing at the church. And she says no. So then Lady May ripped the hell out of her again this week. So May says, go work and dance in attendance on that greasy Negro and that wrinkled up white asparagus of a woman. I'm like, that's a good read right there. Especially against Judy with 2 E's. That wrinkled white asparagus of a woman. And the greasy Negro was good for Phil as well. And, Bishop tells Cherry that, they will make her AP. And she says, well, I already am. And I'm just like, girl, do you not see that you are a token upon, like, I don't think that Phil nor Judy nor Bob have any intentions of you ever preaching at this new church. You do realize they needed you for a number. And now that you did what they wanted you to do, you're expendable. You're basically expendable at this point. But I don't think she sees that. And she said, and May says, tells her, like, they are using you, like I just said. And she says you'll be rocking those cinnamon milk babies like a mammy. When she said those cinnamon milk babies. God, cinnamon milk. Who writes these lines for Lady May? They are quick-witted. I would actually hate to have an argument with them because they would read better than I can read. Because I think I can read to an extent, but damn, they take it to another level. But Charity says that she has a plan. I'm like, girl, what kind of plan do you have? Like, I think you should stick with your family. Honestly, I really think you should stick with your family. Charity might not be my favorite person, but listen to your parents. So then we do see Corinne. So Corinne is talking to Lady May and Bishop. She's telling them that they do have a building manager, but he wants to know about the health plan that they are offering. And Lady May says, you know what, tell him, don't worry about that. We'll get it taken care of soon. And then they said, well, and then they also said, she asked about Carlton, and what did he say? And, Corinne is like, well, he took a job somewhere else, but he said he'll be praying for you. She's like, tell him to keep those prayers. And then Corinne says, well, I don't have a musical background, but I do know how to press play on a whatever. I mean, because it is in a bar, and they were like, you're hired. So Corinne is in charge of the music. Let's move on. Alright, so now let's move over to Jacob, Clam, and Cheap Dirty Blonde Skank. Clam is an evil bitch. I can't stand her. Her and that, oh God, her and that terrible fade. I just be looking at her hair. Now, I'm not going to knock the actress because I think she's doing a terrific job, because she's doing a good job of making me hate this character. But damn. So she's getting ready to go to work. Jacob is in the bed asleep, and she grabs the curtains and just opens them up so the sunlight can come in and hit Jacob in the eye. It wouldn't have been me. Couldn't be me because I sleep heavy as fuck anyways. because I really try hard. My heart is not to cuss at these videos. I'm trying to minimize cussing in the first place. But when it comes to Clam, I just really hate her. Hate her uncontrollably. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, like if you open up the blinds or whatever, that is not gonna wake me up. I sleep through thunderstorms. That doesn't wake me up. So she's fussing with him because, like I said, she's getting ready to go to work, and he's not going to work. So she tells him, she's going to be meeting with Dante after school, and it's going to be late because she's meeting with Dante. So Jacob has to pick up Winky from Chest. And he made a little face, and she's like, "See, that's why I'm going for full custody." He said, "I didn't even say anything." And he tells her, like, if it's gonna be like this every day, you might as well just go ahead and move out. She says, "Oh, I will move out once I know that me and my kids are taken care of." Help me, Jesus, when it comes to this woman. Help me, Jesus. Excuse me, y'all. So then we see Jacob. So Jacob goes over to Cheap Dirty Blonde Skank's place, and she come to the door, and I mean, the outfit was banging, but I'm like, what kind of club are you going to? And they're not going to a club. What they're going to do is they're going to meet up with one of Retro Rochelle and Basie's sister Tara. So then we do see them, and they're going to a church. Now the neighborhood, I'm like, oh, she is really overdressed for this neighborhood. So they go inside, and the church, it just looked like a church, from very, very humble beginnings. And Jake be like, this is where he would love to be. This is where he's been trying to get his family out, back to, for years. So Tara basically wants to know why is Jacob there, and he tells her, well, that Rachel Rochelle and Basie believe that Bishop killed your father, and she's like, yeah, I know. He's like, so do you believe it? She was like, I do. He was like, well, why do you believe that so much? She says, well, the night that my dad died, Basie said that he got a phone call from Bishop telling him to come to the church. And he said, well, how does Basie know that it was, Bishop? Did he answer the phone? She says, well, I don't really know. So he says, so basically, you don't know that it was Bishop. It could have been Mac, which I really do believe that it was Mac. We all know how slimy and grimy Mac was. So I 100% believe that it was absolutely Mac that orchestrated everything. I mean, come on, it is Mac that we talking about. The same man who was messing with young girls and his niece of, oh God, how do you do that? It's one thing to mess with kids, but then it's another thing to mess with kids in your family. Like, I don't understand men or women. I'm not gonna just say men, I'm gonna say men and women who rape or molest children in their family, nieces, nephews, your own fucking kids. Now that is what I think is deplorable and disgusting, is when you rape your own child. Someone that shares your same flesh and blood. Like, how can you do that? How can you do that? That is nasty. Ugh. There's a special place in hell for people like that. So where am I at? Okay, so yeah. So then he asked her, so what is the relationship between him and Ms. Loretta Davis? She's like, I'm not going to tell you much more. I've already told you enough. And he was like, okay, well, I'll have to do a little bit of digging. And then once I do get some more information, I'll definitely get back with you. She says, well, you know where to find me. So once Jacob then leaves, she calls someone, and she said that she just met up with Jacob Greenleaf and to call her back. I have two hunches on who that person she called. The first hunch is I think she called Rachel Rochelle, but then I also wonder, I'm like, did she call Basie? Like, I know that Cheap Dirty Blonde Skank is saying that Basie is dead, but a part of me does not believe that Basie is dead. Because, I mean, we thought Basie was dead before. So I really don't think that Basie is dead. But let me know what you guys think about that. So then we do see Jacob. He drops her off, and she said, "Well, you can come in." And he's like, "Oh no, I gotta go get Winky from Chess." And then she says, "Well, Jacob, did you ever really like me?" And he said, "Yeah, I did like you. I really did." And he says, once his divorce with Carissa is over, then maybe we can get to know each other better. And she was like, "Divorce?" He's like, "Yeah, Carissa and I are getting divorced." I'm like, "Oh, those are words you didn't hear from Ti, is it?" Oh, did I say that? Damn, I didn't mean to say that. Um, so then we see Clam. So Clam is talking to her lawyer on the phone. She's telling her lawyer that Jacob has still not found a job, and Jacob's like, "So were you talking to your lawyer about me?" She's like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, how about you tell her that the deal is off. I intend to go for shared custody." She was like, "And have the bishop go to jail?" He's like, "Well, if he did it, he might have to go to jail. If he didn't do it, we'll find out." And I'm like, "Ooh, Clam, Clam, let, let me catch it." Ooh, I'm sorry, I missed it. That was your face that fell on the ground, cracked to pieces. Like, damn. He just shattered your face like Mr. Potato Head. No, that ain't Mr. Potato Head. What is that? What is his name? The one, y'all know, it's late at night and I'm tired. Um, I mean, potatoes can smash and kind of. What is his? What is the fairy tale? Damn, I can't even think of it. The one, the one where he was sitting on the ledge and he whatever. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But yeah, your face cracked into a million pieces like a mirror. I'm just gonna say that. All right. So then we see Jacob. So Jacob goes and talks to Bishop, and he's asking Bishop, did he talk to Daryl James the night that he died? And Bishop's like, why are you asking these questions, Jacob? And telling him to come to the church. And he's like, well, because there is a will that left this house to Daryl James, and Bishop's like, no, that will that I have was left to me and your mother. He's like, but there was a will before that. Well, I didn't know anything about that. And I actually believe Bishop, I 100% believe that Bishop didn't know. That's why, again, I will say this was all Max doing. Because, I mean, think about it, Jacob. Where did you find this other will at? It was in a tackle box that you found in Max's storage unit. So I believe that everything will lead back to Mac. I don't believe Bishop had any hand in anything. So I think you might have the upper hand when it comes to Clam. But let's move over to the, the creme de la creme of the episode. All right, guys. So the episode actually started out with Grace. So she's looking out on the water, and then we see Darius comes over, and Darius is telling her that he's getting ready to go to Vegas, so that he can look into Edenville lending. And Grace is like, well, you know what? I did a little bit of research on it last night, and the only thing that I could find about it was an ad where they said that they refinance loans. It's as if someone's trying to make it look like this company never existed. And Darius is like, yeah, that's the reason that I'm actually going, to Vegas. He says, the building is not there anymore, but what I am going to do is look at the company records. So then, Darius, she's like, well, at least you're getting a free vacation out of this. He's like, I paid for this myself. She's like, huh? He's like, yeah, I got fired. She's like, wait, why did you get fired? He's like, the reason that I got fired is because of this story that I'm doing. So basically, in a nutshell, Bob has killed this story. I'm like, damn, what does Bob have on this editor that he got? He not only got this story killed, but he got Darius fired from his job. Like Bob is really trying to hide something, and he has something on a lot of people. So then we do see Grace and Noah. So they're in the house, and Bishop and Lady May come downstairs, and Lady May is ecstatic to see Noah. And Bishop asks Grace, how was it at the hospital? She says about same old, same old. Nothing. He says, well, maybe next time I should come with you. And she's like, and well, it wouldn't hurt. So that Lady May was not slick at all. I knew exactly what she was doing with Noah. So, May asked Noah, how long is he staying? And Noah says, I'm staying here for the foreseeable future. And she says, so you're staying at your mother's. Does she have enough room for you? Um, he says, she has enough. It'll be fine for now, but after that, I'm going to look for my own place. She says, well, when Zora goes to college, your cabin will be free. And Grace was like, Mama, stop. I know what you're doing. And, Lady May was like, well, no, someone needs to say this. Now, Lady May, I didn't agree with what she was saying. She's talking about one parent gave AJ up, and then the other one didn't know about him. That wasn't the best thing to say, but I did agree with what she was. I did agree with what she ended up saying. That when it comes down to AJ, they need to be a united front for him. And I think Lady May could have just led with that. That they could have been just a united front. And Grace got upset, and she walked out. And then Bishop ended up following her. And he says, your mother was wrong for what she said. Well, for what she said, but he does agree with her because he was thinking about back to what happened with her, with May and him when it came to faith. So he says, yes, you guys are a family. She says, well, Daddy, I'm not going to marry. He said, no one's telling you to marry him, but you guys do need to be on one accord when it comes to AJ. And I agree with that. So then we see Grace and Noah. They're at the hospital. They're both asking each other what they're going to do about a job. And they both ask each other what they're going to do about a job. What else? So then Sophia shows up to the hospital. And, this was after AJ had called her. So Sophia goes into the room. Now, before she goes into the room, she tells Grace not to be mad at her. And Grace says, I'm not mad at you. So she goes into the room, and it's a different AJ. This is a much different version of AJ. He was upbeat, and I'm like, wow, where has this person been? Because, he's always surly and mad and all that kind of stuff. So he tells her that he's leaving, and she's like, wait a minute, you're leaving? He's like, yeah. She says, you're not going to leave until you tell me why you tried to kill yourself. So then we see AJ, he's telling her that, he has to go. He can't be in a family because of all that he's been through. And she's like, you know what? If you don't tell me, like, you want me to say goodbye to you, I'll say goodbye to you and tell Mom, not to bother you or whatever you want. But you have to tell me what it is that you're hiding. She's like, we all got shit that we've been through. Like, it's a lot of bullshit going on with me. I can't have kids. He says, well, the stuff that's going on with me pales in comparison to what's going on with you. I'm like, yep. I think a lot of people were correct about what it is. So Grace is, still out there in the hallway. She's freaking out. Noah is trying to calm her down. So then Sophia comes out. And you can see that Sophia is upset. Now, this part I did not see coming. So Sophia said that AJ wants to talk to Grace. So Grace goes in the room where he is. He says, I'm going to tell you this one time, and I don't want to talk about it again. She says, fine, whatever you want. So AJ tells her when he was in prison, he was raped. And one of the bitches that raped him gave him HIV. I was like, wow. That I did not see. I didn't see the rape part coming. I figured he had HIV with the questions that, because somebody looked into my comments. I figured it was HIV after I replayed the conversation that Grace had with that doctor last week when she asked, was she cut by the razor and was Sophia his girlfriend? I'm like, yep, he has HIV. Like I said, I just did not see the whole rape situation coming. Wow. It is crazy. Like, I had to clutch my invisible pearls. I did that Marseille Martin gift where she does like that. Like, I had that moment watching that scene. like I had that moment watching that scene because I've said on this channel plenty of times before, but at 17, you know, the one good thing that I can say about myself is I didn't contract any STDs or anything, but I was raped when I was 17 years old. And it was by a guy. It was by someone that I was friends with. And, you know, we were just hanging out. And then all of a sudden, you know, he was on top of me. He pulled my clothes down. I'm trying to fight him off of me. Couldn't get him off of me at that time when he started doing it. And it happened. But the thing that I can say is, like I said, I didn't contract anything. That's the positive for me. I've never even said that out loud. There are a few people who know that situation about me, but I don't care. You know, it took me a long time to get past, you know, the shame, because I really did feel a lot of shame for that for a long time. I'm like, I put myself in a situation where that happened to me, but you know, it took me a long time to, you know, tell myself that it was not my fault. It took me years to get past that. But you guys, that was Greenleaf. Be sure to like this video. Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Also share this video. And you guys, until the next one, do me a favor out there. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys later.